Anything beats a zero.
We make everything look good, including being overweight. So,
Scientifically, you cannot drink alkaline water and it makes your cells alkalytic. The closer you are to nature, the healthier you'll be.
All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. I am Carolyn Gentle, and you are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Thank you all so much for being here today. This is a pre recording, but do not fear. Dr. Zarif and I will be in the comments with any questions, answering any questions or comments that you may have. So, thank you all so much for joining us here today. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zarif. Thank you all so much again for being here. Topics that we're going to be discussing: plant based diets, functional foods. We will also be discussing personalized nutrition and sustainable eating. So, as you know, we're all about the health and wellness here. So, it's about to be on. All right. So, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the party going. Hi, how are you?
It's fantastic. A great Saturday to you.
Happy
And
Saturday to you.
good. You look great. You look bright. You ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Beautiful.
It's
Well,
sunshiny out there, I'm sorry. So I'm just wanting to feel the sunshine with everybody else.
oh, that's beautiful. I wanted to just give a recognition for one of the doctors that presented with me, along with Babette Davis at the doctors roundtable, and he was just I just met him. I didn't know him well, but he seemed to be a great gentleman, and that was for those of you that's looking at our opening photos or film, the video that we're playing. He's there in the glasses, and he died here recently. So unfortunately, um, we didn't get a chance to know each other better, but we really wish him and his family all the best.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to say that to acknowledge him. Uh,
Dr. Montgomery.
yes. So thank you very much for allowing me to just bring that to you. So today we have some interesting things. I want to talk about some things that we don't talk about a lot, and these are actually different facets of nutrition. So we'll start off with plant-based, of course. And when we talk about plant-based, we're going to talk about those foods that are mostly based in plants and very easy to follow along. So as you continue to get used to the show and the things that we're doing on the show, you'll also know that it's not as hard as it seems at times, because sometimes it just seems like, oh man, this is going to be rough, these long words, and this guy talking about stop eating meat, and you got like the sister on there. She seemed like she's like on the same trip because she's not eating meat either, you know. So it's like, yeah, I know it's something new for you, but that's how we grow. And instead of using the meat to be your main attraction, let the meat be on the fringes, just little as a decorative, just like maybe a condiment or something. But we have to really pay attention to how these foods are affecting us in population. This isn't just a couple of people that we're talking about. We're talking about the masses. Even if we talk about the cancer alone, you're talking about over a 500,000 people that are suffering from different diseases of the heart. And
Mhm.
there are some of the foods that are associated with direct connection with people that have heart problems or heart diseases. Are people also that eat large quantities of meat. And you haven't ever heard anybody that even talks about like, yeah, man, I feel I'm stronger now that I'm eating meat. Although I heard that kind of people that are sharing that kind of misinformation. My doctor told me that if I eat I don't know who I'm personally, but my my doctor told they'll say that my doctor told me that I had to eat meat because I'm losing my strength. And if you don't eat meat, you will lose your strength. That is elementary and very ignorant because there are so many examples of why we should not eat meat versus why we should eat meat. This is a food that doesn't have any fiber in it. You do have certain things that you can say, as far as the benefits, and that would be things like if you eat fish, for instance, like salmon. Salmon would be one of the um, sources of omega 3s, fatty acids, that kind of thing. But there's not a long list there. Okay. So, anyway, we're not going to get into, we will be mentioning veganism and vegetarianism as we go along today, but you don't have to be that if that's not what you want to be. Eat the other stuff. To see the other stuff, when I say the other stuff, I'm talking about the meat and I'm talking about the fish and the turkey and the chicken, all of those things. And the thing that's really interesting about this care is that when you eat these kinds of meats, they usually, just like everything else, the more you eat, the more that you want. So it's not one of those things that I just take a couple of bites and only just once a month. It's something that you get used to, something you get used to, the texture, the taste. And when you're eating these types of food, what you do is you increase the risk of disease, infection, and illness. So keep that in mind too. That's very, very important. Again, when you have a chance to just really think about what you're putting in your body and how does that serve you? How does it serve you? Does it help you to um, uh, have more energy, you feel more energetic, you think faster, you feel lighter. What are you getting? What benefits are you getting? And
Mhm.
remember, if you are increasing your risk of disease, then that means that is a food or a food lifestyle that you may want to change. If you want to eat the foods that decrease the risk of illness and disease and infection, then you'll start to eat more of those foods that we talk about so much, the colorful foods, the foods that have a high water content, the foods that have resveratrol, and those foods that have um, uh, you know, Lyco, all of these, I can't even say the word, you know, but there are so many things that you'll have, um, like lycopene. I don't know why I got stuck on lycopene, but lycopene in watermelons and lycopene in papayas and lycopene in other vegetables and fruit that are that same color. All those things that we talked about. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go, everybody. Put on your seatbelt. Let's go. I'm going to go through this fast. First, I want to start off with plant-based diets. The more people that talk about plant-based diets, you know that it's spreading pretty doggone fast, and it's also healthy for a healthy environment, for healthy environmental reasons, and that is that we don't have to worry about all of the methane. We don't have to worry about the killing of cows and the E. coli infections that we have coming from live sentient beings. And this is something that we're changing slowly, but we are changing. This includes vegetarian and vegan diets, as well as flexitarian approaches that emphasize plant foods while allowing occasional meat consumption. Occasional meat consumption is just when you're not eating it every day and for every meal. So let's go ahead and move on. The plant based or the plant forward eating patterns focus on the foods primarily from plants. And you might hear sometime you hear phytos or you'll hear phyto, means the same thing, foods. Now, this includes not only fruit and vegetables, but it also includes nut seed oils, um, and that's not nut seed oils, nut, the seed, and the oils, whole grains, legumes, and beans. Now, legumes and beans, the same thing. No, when we get more specific, when we look at the different types of lentils and split peas, and then we look at pinto beans, and we'll look at navy beans, and so forth. You'll see that there is a difference there. Now let's look at the Mediterranean vegetarian diet. Now, most people know how popular the Mediterranean diet is because its foundation uh, is of the base plant-based foods. It also includes the fish and the poultry, the eggs, the cheese, and the yogurt a few times a week at least. That's what makes it really a diet. But with the meats and some the sweets less often, so you don't like pile it on. But pretty much the Mediterranean diet is eating some of the things that the standard American diet eats. For people that have a little more discipline. Excuse me. Now, as we go along here, again, we're talking about the plant based diet. The Mediterranean diet has been shown in both large population studies and randomized clinical trials to reduce the risk, again, reducing the risk of heart disease, of metabolic syndrome, diabetes, certain cancers, specifically colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer. So any of those, colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer, are the some of the biggest, the most widespread, and most common cancers. Now, and I think maybe there are some skin cancers that might be, or blood cancers that also might be common, but these three, the breast, your colon, and prostate, along with depression and in older adults, a decreased risk of frailty, and that's along with uh, better mental and physical function. So when you're eating Mediterranean diets, it could behoove you, it could be to your benefit if you're not glutting, you're overdoing it. Next, we have the vegetarian diet. Now, many of us are vegetarians now because we're really on the path of eating less meat, and probably will end up eating no meat at all. Now, I've met so many people that say, oh, yeah, I used to be vegetarian. Oh, yeah, I used to be vegan. And they could not resist the taste coming from the chicken and the turkey and those different types of foods. But when it really gets down to it, it's about, again, whether or not you're increasing your risk of disease or you are decreasing your risk. Now, as far as the vegetarian diets, they have also been shown to support health, including a lower risk of developing coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and increased longevity. And now you can eat these foods if you want to, and what will happen, you can get by, but you just can't get away. That's I stole that from my sister. My sister got it from my mother. My mother got it from my grandmother. I think that's how that goes. But when it comes to eating certain foods, and you think just because you look a certain way that you are a certain way, well, that stands to be very untrue, because many people look the part, but they're absolutely not the part. That's with the big smile and the beautiful, healthy looking hair and skin. And, if you can get beyond the makeup. And I, for one, love makeup on women because I love what women love to do for themselves to please us. There it is. He said it. So it's very important to think about the plant based diets that offer all the necessary protein, the fats, the carbohydrates, the vitamins and minerals for optimal health. Optimal is to feel the very best that you can and do all that you can do to get there. However, some vegans may need to add some supplements, specifically vitamin B12, which is cyanocobalamin. And that is what that can be also attained in some bacteria. But it is so important that you understand these things that are missing, because you could be deficient. Now we go to vegetarian diet variety. The vegetarian diet actually comes in lots of shapes and sizes, and you should choose the version that works for you best. We start off with the semi vegetarian. The semi vegetarian is the same thing as a flexitarian, and the flexitarian eats the eggs and dairy foods, and occasionally we'll eat meat, poultry, fish, and seafood. So that is the flexitarian. It's the kind of thing that most people are flexitarians. Okay, so then we have pescatarians. Now, pescatarian includes eating eggs, dairy foods, fish, and seafood, but not any meat or poultry. So, no birds and no beef and pork. Then we go to a vegetarian. A vegetarian is sometimes referred to as a lacto-ovo vegetarian, which includes eggs and dairy foods, but no meat, no poultry, no fish, and no seafood. And then the vegan includes no animal foods, period. And that's, I mean, all the way to the smallest one. For instance, there are vegans, and these are vegans that actually eat, they allow the honey. That's one of the things that they're not willing to give up. So that's very important too. Functional foods which prove health benefits beyond basic nutrition. So these functional foods are the ones that are being described as being beyond the basic nutrition, and they're gaining a lot of popularity. By the way, examples include the food that's fortified with probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants aimed at improving gut health, heart health, and all over wellness. So we're going to stop right there and see if we can get some feedback here, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to we'll continue with functional foods, but let's start right here and go back to the wonderful care.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. I know it can get tricky with all the different eating habits that, or yeah, eating habits that's out there. So I'm glad that you're breaking it down as far as plant-based, pescatarian, vegetarian, and all the other things, because it really does get a little confusing for a lot of people. Like for myself, I say that I'm plant-based, um, or there may be times when I say I am not vegan, but I eat like one.
Yeah.
So there's different ways that people may say, "Oh, are you vegan?" If I'm at a restaurant or something like that, I'm going to say yes, vegan. just because that means no animal products whatsoever. No, no meat, no dairy, no eggs. So, and that's what I go by. But I think sometimes when people say plant based, they like restaurants, they may still think that cheese is okay. And for me, it's not. So it does get a little confusing. So like I said, it's good to be able to break it down and get more information, or just find out what you want to eat, what you mean to eat whenever you go somewhere, you know. And
Yes.
yeah. And that's another reason why I was going to say, as I mentioned before, Dr. Zarif does have a new program coming out called Plant Based Reset for anyone that is interested in starting and learning how to start and maintain a plant based lifestyle. So that is coming soon. Keep your eyes and ears out for that. So,
Well,
yeah.
wonderful. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. By the way, everybody, today at 9 a.m. We'll be working out. We'll be down at the Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church with some of the best people on the planet, and we'll be going through more one-on-one. You can ask questions. I really invite you to come out and learn more about it. I didn't even have this available to me when I was coming up. Nobody talked about that. The something that was considered healthy was like some eggs in the blender, and some raw eggs with some sweet milk, and and what else did they have in there? They'll put a little nutmeg in it or something that you know I'm sure we got something from it, but it was really that those are what I call struggle foods and the struggle mentality.
Mm,
So do take your time to embellish yourself with a lot of knowledge so that you're not going to be stuck in that agnotologist lane, not knowing, being ignorant. And why? We're surrounded with so much knowledge. It's really incredible. And we don't have to really um, settle. We can get exactly, what science has discovered to prove how nature works.
mm-hmm,
You see, that's the whole purpose of science. So when people are talking about, these different occasions that you like something that's really landish and just to avoid sounding like I'm making fun of someone, but there are people that believe that and they go through their whole lives believing that and they spread that kind of misinformation, and here we go, back in the big circle, back in the big circle. So let's go ahead. Let's continue. You know how fast this time goes. We're going to continue on with functional foods. Now, the functional foods, again, they are the foods that actually provide health benefits. That's not just like the common or the basic nutrition. Uh, and the some of the examples are fortified foods with probiotics, omega-3 fatty acids, and antioxidants aimed at improving your gut health, your heart health, and overall wellness. And I say that over again because I really wanted you to hear that and let it not be words just, bouncing off your ear. These are some of the things, just like we always say, we want you to take this information and start working on it right now, not later on, because this is something that is really, really helpful and is something that we can continue to use as a means of like just like a tool to help ourselves to make ourselves better. So let's talk about what are functional foods. Now, foods that are fortified with any vitamin or mineral are also known as functional foods. Functional foods may keep or help to promote wellness, and they can't lead the poor to eating eating uh, to poor eating. They can't lead to poor eating habits. So the functional foods also reduce the risk of diseases and reduce any health condition. And this is it really important because the functional foods today are highly nutritious and relate to a number of health benefits. They may protect against many diseases, prevent nutrient deficiencies, and they can helps in proper growth and development. Now, some foods fortified with vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and fiber, like nuts, vegetables, uh, fruit, seeds, grains are considered, all of these are considered as functional foods. So you see how all of these foods are connected. Functional foods are normally classified as body building foods, energy yielding foods like carbohydrates, protein rich foods, protective foods like fruits and vegetables. Benefits will include nutrient deficiencies. It helps in nutrient deficiencies, like many people today are deficient in vitamin D. So this would be some of the functional foods would help a person extract those, or as they digest the food, that this would also help them to replenish their bodies and their system with, for instance, vitamin B12, cyanocobalamin. They also, the functional foods may lead to balanced diet, and it helps in proper growth and in brain development. And as we get older, you find that, wow, there are more people, not the ones that's getting dementia, but Alzheimer's and all the different diseases, Parkinson's disease, all the different diseases that a person can get that are mental diseases are definitely spreading fast. We don't know all of the reasons why, but we do know that we need to change some of our behaviors, because when we change our behaviors, then we also get a better understanding about how we can treat ourselves. Now let's look at some of the types of functional foods. The functional foods are just the foods that contains medicinal uses. And you've heard, when let thy food be thy medicine, let thy medicine be thy food. Of course, very, very famous, and this has been said for eons. Well, first of all, fortified food. Now, fortified food is which are the foods that, in addition to nutrients, like they add to the foods, vitamin A, D, calcium, and iron, so forth. And then you have also the enriched food. Now, keep in mind, the fortified food is the food which is fortified with additional nutrients. So, if, for instance, you'll get an egg, you'll see this in the supermarket, and the egg will say enriched with vitamin E, enriched with vitamin D, enriched with vitamin C. So they're adding nutrients, and I'm talking about science, and manufacturers now are adding that to make the price a little higher, and a market for enriched eggs. Now, we also look at the word enriched. And this I was really misunderstood one time when I was actually exposing these ingredients at Trader Joe's one time. And the Trader Joe's is cool, but there was sometimes we have to do some of our due diligence to find out more about the products that we buy. Just because it's in Trader Joe's doesn't mean that it's the perfect food. And some people shop like that. It's just a health food store. Everything good for you. Eat as much as you want to. Well, let's look at enriched foods. In these foods, the nutrients are added as usual, but these added nutrients are not naturally found in that food. It means we add the nutrient which is lacking in that food product. So, an example would be if you're looking at you just have orange juice. Now, orange juice, when it's pasteurized, is cooked. A lot of times, when you cook the fruit, you're going to lose part of its nutrients, or it's going to at least reduce these nutrients. So, what happens is sometimes we have what is called flash pasteurization, but sticking to the regular pasteurization, many people or many of the technicians and scientists and manufacturers, packers, they'll have more of what the orange juice doesn't have in it. So you'll see enriched with vitamin C, and especially those fake drinks that come in a can, or those drinks that are, turquoise and pink and um, well, you got some things pink, like pink grapefruit, but you got some colors that just are not on the color spectrum when it comes to nature. But um, even when I say that, I'm thinking about there are other things that we haven't seen much of because they're rare and they're in forests. Like you have birds that are absolutely gorgeous, and their feathers are all these different colors. But that's not to get it twisted with the foods that I'm talking about now. You also other types are enhanced foods, altered foods, and non-altered foods. And these are some of the foods that you can do your homework on because it's very important. Going back to orange juice, for instance, is fortified with calcium to increase the bone health and reduce osteoporosis. A woman might find that very interesting because women tend to get osteoporosis more than men. Orange juice is said to be modified functional food as it is it's a lack of calcium naturally. So that's just an orange juice, but you can also get a calcium supplement to make up for the calcium that isn't in that orange juice. And then you have oatmeal. Oatmeal is also a functional food. Milk is also well, it comes under that category of I would just say functional food, as it is a complete protein, and it also contains useful fats, vitamins, and minerals. And I'd say that as really as a nutritionist, this is something that I don't keep from you because I'm not saying that just because I do it, you got to do it too. But be aware of what you put in your body because it can certainly make a huge difference. Olive oil contains rich levels of monounsaturated fatty acids and is also good. Is a good source of phytochemicals, including the polyphenic compounds. The cereals that we eat, like wheat flour, is fortified with folic acid, and that's vitamin B9. And you have iron and vitamin B12 to reduce anemia and increase blood formation. Now, for those of you that are paying attention, thank you very much because these are some of the things that you're going to be able to help yourself, and you're also going to be able to help others by just eating some of these foods that we talked about that are some of our plant-based foods. And this is really, really very wonderful that we have this time to share with you. Now, next, we're going to talk about to go right into personalized nutrition. But before we do that, we're going to go back and see what's up with Care.
That's all good. Care is
I don't
here
even
to.
know Share.
That's like a. It's all good. Carolyn is here to share. I think that's what you were. That's what you were going
I
for.
was putting too much pressure on myself.
No problem. So, thank you all so much for being here today. You are in the Mind of Nature hosted by Dr. Zari, the nutritionist. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zarif. This is a pre recording. Why? Because Dr. Zarif will be at Mount Tabor today, Saturday. Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church, 6614 Southwestern. He's going to have his nutrition class, and then after the class, he's going to funk it up with some Funkinetics workout.
Yes, indeed.
So, for anyone that will be in the LA area, come on out and join us. It's going to be great. It's always great, always a great workout.
Yeah, definitely. I really want to, yeah, like double down on that because we really have a lot of fun, and it really keeps you in shape. You know, one of the things that some people get is the old people's disease, which is called sarcopenia. They're
Mhm.
not using the muscles enough. They're not challenging their heart enough. They don't sweat anymore. They don't do any exercise. The arms are flabbing. The stomach is rolling over the belt line. All of these things can be changed if you start. The hardest part of working out is to get started, to start, to do something.
It's-
If you have a watermelon in a refrigerator, stop looking at it like it's decorating the refrigerator. Take it out, wash it off, and then cut it, and then start eating it. That first bite and enjoying the experience of that watermelon is you're beginning to eating other healthy things. It's
yeah.
just when we do what? When we just get too doggone extreme,
Okay.
overdoing it.
Yes.
You know, it's so easy to go through a bag of nuts. It's so easy to eat a whole bag of potato chips. It's so easy to eat a big old thing of popcorn because it's passive. So it's nervous energy. If you're just, I got to have something to eat while I'm looking at TV. Sometimes you might just want to I like to just have a drink on the side, might be water
Mhm.
and just, do that. But just some of those sugary drinks that we've been drinking and that's out on the market, I mean, sugar, sugar, sugar. Even some of the most famous sodas have more than 12 teaspoons of sugar in per can. And that is, and some come in bottles, but there's a lot of uh, this carbonation, and that comes from carbonic acid. And you also have a lot of sugar, and bad for your oral hygiene, bad for your overall health. Okay, we're almost there, so we're going to continue here on with the next thing. And what we're talking about now is that we're going to be talking about personalized nutrition. Now, personalized nutrition is really not something that's been around a long time, but it's trending now because more people are getting their personalized capsules of um nutrients for themselves now. And instead of just buying something that is on the shelf, they get it made up. They get a certain formula made up specifically for them, and it is uh, connected with those things that they show that they have a deficiency in. And I'm speaking of nutrients. Personalized nutrition uses factors about you and as an individual to develop targeted nutrition recommendations. So this is very important, and some people like it like that because just to think sometimes usually when we go and we buy certain herbs or we buy certain vitamins and minerals, they're already made up. It's a generic formula and everybody uses it. So now when you get to the point where, you know what, I want something special, I want something that is made for me. It's just like people that like some people will buy a suit off the rack, and then you got other people that will have the suit made for their body. So this is something that you can take into account. Okay. Um, Now I wanted to go over with you the after personalized nutrition, we want to go to blood sugar sensor. We use the blood sugar sensor called a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM, and it actually our special recipe food challenges test muffins, test finger prick test, and a gut health test that analyzes your gut um, microbiome. Now, some of these words right here are just like phrases. Even there's another phrase for bacteria, and doctors call them bugs. When you have bugs, and this is usually so-called bad bacteria, uh, but they can be found in your gut, and it can be beneficial to your health because we need both. We need um, the good bacteria along with the so-called bad bacteria. Okay, all right. So let's move along. When we're talking about gut bacteria, I love that subject because so many people, all of us have a gut, and who doesn't want to hear about something that will help you feel healthier? One study in particular, involving over 1,200 participants, found that those who received a 6 month personalized nutrition intervention went on to eat less meat, eat less salt and saturated fat, less saturated fat, and they saw greater improvements in their overall diet that those who receive general nutrition advice. So this is really good to know because again, the things that we learn, we're talking about evidence, and we start talking about people that actually checked it out. They got really good results from it, and then the experts should then and only then spread the news after they have gotten some kind of feedback from the participants in the different studies. All right, so why does a personalize nutrition and why is it important? In the United States, 78% of people aged 55 and over live with at least one chronic condition, and nearly one fifth of this group that live with three or more chronic conditions. So one fifth they have three or more. So when you get older and you're over 40 years old, and then when you're over 55, this is why a lot of oh man, there's a lot of things that happen that we don't realize, but they'll happen after 55 because usually, if a person has been abusing themselves and not paying attention to their nutrition as they grow, then they could or should pretty much expect that there's going to be a lot of challenges that they may face as they get older. So when to eat is really important. Our body digests and it also breaks down the carbohydrates and fat in your body. So when we're talking about this food, where we break down food the same. It starts in the mouth and then we chew it up. It turns into a bolus and then we swallow it all the way down in the food tube. In the food tube, that's the esophagus, and then it goes down into the stomach, and we start to churn and break it down even more, and your food continues to break down until it becomes just a chemical. For instance, there might be C6H12O6, for carbohydrates, or it might have nitrogen. Or what all of our foods break down. We cannot use food in the same or the original state that we eat them in. It has to be broken down. Now, here are some of the tips for eating, your eating habits, and really helping to make them more sustainable. Sustain. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. All right. You guys get together back there. You're not. Come on. Okay. All right. Care. I got him. Um, this is really good. I want to go on to again stay on the sustainable. When I say sustainable, I'm also meaning or electric, and that is, we'll get into that more late another time, because we did a really nice report on the electric body and how electricity works, how neurons carry the signals, and it's just really beautiful. The human body is fantastic. By definition, sustainable eating refers to diets with little environmental impacts, improve food security and nutrient density, and add to the health of present and future generations. So if we start eating in a sustainable way, instead of eating the foods that are eating up our earth and tearing up where we live and having no respect for Mother Earth, sustainable eating is very important. By definition, sustainable eating refers to diets with little environmental impacts. And that is super important, because you want to eat foods that you're not, contaminating the soil, or you're not contaminating the bodies of water, so on. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's one beautiful thing about vegans, too. Many of them are very conscious of eating certain foods, and not, or I should put it this way, protecting the earth that we all have to share. Okay. There's that word again. Okay. So there we have it. I think we got sustainable here. And let me see what else that we have over here. Okay. This is just to give you an idea of the what we're looking at here. The nutrigenics and nutrigenomics. All of these, along with you, are here, the epigenetics and epigenomics. All of these are very important. They come together as the 4P medicine. And then we start looking at the dysbiosis and how we can eat certain diets. It don't necessarily have to be the Mediterranean diet, but all the different foods that go into making your diet, and then you're getting eubiosis in the green, meaning healthy, and that's where we want to be. Not when we're unhealthy, we just cannot. There's no way to enjoy life the way you want to. And some people are in so much pain, they take opiates to relieve them from pain, but they also increase the chance of dying from that. and and not all, but when I'm talking about some of the real strong stuff, I won't even name those, because it might be a trigger for some folks. But take care of yourself as much as you possibly can, because you will make a very big difference. Now I want to move on to sustainable eating as we get ready to close here. And sustainable eating is pretty much just like I was talking about earlier, with the foods that we can eat that are organic and that are ethnically produced. That is, people that really take time to nurture the soil, nurture the fruit, the root, the whatever they're getting from that soil, and doing it in a way that um, keeps the world, the entire world, healthy. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are doing the things to keep our world healthy. All right. I want to go here just a little bit more into this. The sustainability, again, or sustainable systems have become buzzwords, and for a good reason. They are often discussed in conjunction with climate change, which is a real issue facing the entire world today. Isn't that a trip? People know this. This is not just in America. This is the entire world where it's too hot and big glaciers are falling. You can tell how hot it was today outside. And as we progress, it gets hotter and hotter. The challenge is bigger and bigger. Now, there are organizations that are um, they're doing things to help better the earth and to produce some of the real healthy foods and eating all those beautiful colors that we talked about. You see the sprouts and you see avocados, and it's just really wonderful. And the lycopene that we see in this vegetable, it looks like a fruit. I don't see any seeds, but great. We have so many fruits and vegetables that there are just so many to learn more about. Also, okay. Now I'm going to go over some of the benefits of sustainable eating, and first of all, reduce the environmental impacts of food, notably the greenhouse gas emissions, to improve the individual health outcomes, influence agricultural practices, and empower consumers. That's a huge one, to empower consumers, because consumers are purposely wanting to eat foods that are good for them and their families and not harmful to the earth. You do see some people are just totally absent-minded about this. They don't give a doggone about this. And what they'll do is they'll pollute the earth with many things that's going into the earth and in the water. And this is something that we need to change. And we continue to work together, continue to know that we got to live together on this planet, and we can definitely do all that we can do to keep this planet going and healthy. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop right there, everybody. Just to remind you again, I am going to be on the uh, floor today, throwing down. I'm going to teach. We'll go more into this. You can ask me some of the questions that we're talking about here today when you come down at 9 a.m. at 6614 Western Avenue, and that is Mount Tabor Missionary Baptist Church. So I would definitely be looking for you to show up there. And we're going to, as always, have fun. Once you move your body, see, nothing really and truly happens by itself. It's a combination of things. There's not just you just eat these beans, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk or something. It's really you just eat the beans along with other things, some red onions perhaps. You have the beans, you have brown rice, you have asparagus, they're a combination of things. And we also need other things that we can do, like exercise, things that move in that body. That's a part of it. Getting deep sleep, being in a very constructive environment. Oh, that's invaluable. You're living in a place or living with others that love you and you love them back. That is super important. And I'm talking about love. I'm not talking about anything else but love, loving them where they recognize what you're about, what they can do to support what you're about, and to live in harmony. So, this is what I wish for everyone. So, be very cognizant of those people around us, have consideration for their differences, and give everybody a chance to enjoy this wonderful gift, this gift of earth. Okay, we're going to go back to the wonderful Care. And Care, what you got for me?
Just great show again, great information as always. Really appreciate the time that you put in to educate our community, Dr. Zarif. Always really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that has joined us here today. Hopefully, you were taking notes. And if not, guess what? You can rewind it because it's going to be on the YouTube channel and you can watch it all over again from the very beginning and pause it and take your notes as you need to. So just remember that. And while you're there, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you all so much. I am Carolyn, Dr. Zarif. Back to you.
And I am Dr. Zarif. I am the nutritionist. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.